Hey, we're gonna do a crazy cop story here. Couple of I just did a video on suppression of evidence in court cases. So here's a couple Air Force cop stories. The first one was I was working a bomb dog, and because agencies can't afford to train and keep a bomb dog on because there's not a lot of bomb threats, they will usually use the military base's bomb dog. So I'm in the Air Force and we get a bomb threat of a possible bomb threat on a highway. Well, so we cruise out to this. This is towards San Mateo, I think, and it's on a bridge. And we cruise out there, and it looks like a damn body is hanging off this bridge. So there's a bridge, and there's a body hanging off it. And I'm like, what the? This is supposed to be a bomb threat? There's a freaking body? So when we get there, we contact the highway patrol, who's got the place cordoned off, and the local cops, and they're like, hey man, we need you, can you run your dog by this thing hanging off the bridge? And I'm like, what? I said, man, it looks like a person. They go, yeah, we know, that's how we got the call. That somebody called in and somebody hung themselves off the bridge. And I'm like, holy shit. And she goes, they said, well, when we got here and we looked at it, there's a clock and there's wires and there's all kind of like utensils and things sticking out of it that looks like shrapnel. So we think it might be a bomb. I'm like, all right. So I get my dog and I'm get him fired up, show him his ball, because you know he works for his ball, so he wants his ball. So I bounce it and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go find some bubbles. So we search the bridge, and I walk him by it a couple times, and I'm like, he's not hitting on it, man. I don't think it's a bomb. They're like, man, it looks like a bomb. I says, it does look like a bomb, but I said, he's not hitting on it. I don't think it's a bomb. They're like, well, we're not real sure what we're gonna do. I said, well, shit, man, I can call out ERD. We got EOD on the base. They can come out. We'll let them deal with it. They're like, oh, man, that'd be great. Can you do that? So I'm calling out EOD thinking they're going to have some special, secret, high-tech way of handling this. EOD's way of handling this bomb hanging off the side of a bridge over a highway is they're like, well, shit, about the only thing we can do, man. We can't really blow it up because of where it's at. So we're just going to tie a rope to our truck and drag it around. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? They're like, yes. So they back their truck up. They get some rope. They tie it to the back of their truck. They tie it around the head, the part that looks like the head. It's got a wig on and all the shit that's hanging off of there. They tie the rope around and they go, okay, everybody get back. So we all back up. And they just floor this truck and yank this right off the bridge, and this body's dragging behind the truck, and they do a couple circles and they're dragging it, and we're like, what the? Nothing's blowing up. So they stop after a few drags. It bounces off some curbs and shit. And we walk over there, we look at it, and we're like, what the hell? So we're still trying to figure out what's going on and why this body's hanging over. Why does it look like a body? Why has this got all these utensils clogged up? We couldn't figure it out. Well, either they found a note or the wife called in. And what had happened is some dude was getting a divorce. His wife was taking all his shit. She filed some court order that he had to turn over all her shit and all her cooking utensils and clothes that she had left at his house. So he stuffed it in her pants. He stuffed all her tools, all her clothes. It made it look like a body, a wig, hung it off the bridge and said, here, bitch, I hope you die, or some shit like that. Hung it off a bridge. They got the call that somebody hung themselves and killed themselves on the bridge. Show up, find the wires, think it's a bomb. I get called out, EOD gets called out, and we do all this bullshit, block the road. And it was all over. Some dude pissed off at his ex-wife. I thought that shit was pretty funny. So, alright, and so here's another cop story that happened on Air Force Base. In the cop world, when you put out an 1199 in California and a lot of agencies is, officer needs help, it's a county-wide thing. You only use that when like shit's hitting the fan. So if I'm getting beat up and I need help, I wouldn't put out 1199 because I would just put out code 3 cover, get a couple of my units there to help me out, and it's an emergency. But if there's a riot and there's 50, 100 people rioting, and I know I don't have the agency or manpower to handle this, then I'm going to put out $11.99. And when you put out $11.99, all county agencies send units. So there's an agreement between all law enforcement that we will send 2 units. If you put out $11.99, we'll all sacrifice 2 units to get you 20 or 30 units. So there's at Travis Air Force Base, California, they used to have, I don't know if they called it Black Night, maybe they called it Martin Luther King Night, or I don't know what they called it, but it was pretty much Black Night at club. All the brothers came out, and there was always problems. I know that's racist, but it's the fact. And I know facts are racist now, and truth is racist, but whatever. So we always had problems. Well, one night, and another reason we had problems is because it was on a military base, and normally military guys held to a little bit higher standard. They're not going to do stupid stuff because they know they can get slammed really hard. Very easy. There's not a lot of court. UCMJ covers you. So we don't have a whole lot of problems with military guys that are really bad. But on these nights they have these Martin Luther King night or whatever, freaking they open the gate and you let civilians in. So when the civilians come in, that's usually when you get the bad guys. They're bringing in weapons, doing all this BS. So this was an open night, so the club was busy, and of course when it, fights break out, etc. So one of the cops go there, and of course he tries to break up a fight between 4 or 5 people, and the next thing you know, he's calling for help. When another unit shows up, they see 4 guys who have this cop. One's got 1 arm, one's got 1 leg, and 4 of them are just dragging this cop across the area. Fights breaking out everywhere, chairs are flying, and he's like, shit's hitting the fan. So we put out $11.99 because we need some help, because this is out of control. We can't do it. So here comes through the gate, just lines of cops. CHP, Fairfield, Vallejo, Vacaville, all the cities that are around Dixon, Sassoon City. You got cops from all over agency hauling ass because they're like, $11.99, this is bad. A cop's about to get killed, and there's some cops in serious trouble. Now once it settles down, you cancel the $11.99 because they keep sending units until the unit is stabilized. So until you get on the radio and go, okay, cancel $11.99, we got it, there's units still coming from all around agencies. So after we get, 20, 30 cops there, there's cops everywhere. Cops are sticking, hitting people, fighting, snagging people, throwing them in cars. It was just a mess. So, of course, in the military, there's PC, and there's a thing called, it used to be social actions. I don't know what it's called now. Basically, it's black protection group. It's usually held by black people. All they do is take complaints on the poor black people that are being picked on because they're black, and it's not fair, and they only got blacks working. And anytime you deal with somebody who's black, this organization gets involved and makes sure there's not racism and intimidates and just interfere. It's a pain. But so they're upset that we called in civilian cops to beat up the poor black people. So the cops are on the line, and we're explaining why we have civilian cops coming on the base beating up people. And it's like, hey, because we were getting our ass beat and they were dragging a cop across a parking lot, and we lost control because you want to make money for the base selling alcohol, and it's a big money maker, so you open the base up for all these knuckleheads. Of course you can't say that, base commander, or you'll be in jail. So it's like, hey, we tried to do the best we could. We call, okay, well, we don't want civilian cops coming on anymore, so don't do that. So cops now are like, they don't want us calling that in. I think we've called in a couple that I know of. There's maybe one other time we did it. But anyway, a big problem when you get $11.99 or you get other agencies coming in, and I don't know if this is across, normally state police, your state troopers, your highway cops are the worst cops when it comes to doing police work. Most cops, when they show up on a scene, they know, if I handle somebody, if I arrest, if I do anything on this scene, I'm going to cut you what's called a supplemental report. I'm going to say my name, what I did, who I contacted, what I did when I got there, who I arrested, and I'm going to give that to the officer in charge. So when he does his reports, he knows who was there and what happened and who. So when somebody goes, hey, there was a female that was arrested and we don't know where she went because there were 20 people, 30 people arrested, we don't know where she went. And the guy in charge who's doing the case like, I don't know where she went either. Well, she's a witness because she was with so-and-so who stabbed the guy, and we need to put her with him to find out how he got the knife and how he got on the base. And you know what? We don't know who took her because we didn't get a supplement. And CHP, California Highway, absolute worst. They love showing up being hot dogs, sticking the crap out of people, using force, never giving you paperwork, never giving you a badge number they were there. And as soon as it settles down, they get in their car and they leave. And you never know who showed up, who hit who. Now you got somebody over here need medical attention, so the cop broke my leg, and you're like, well, who hit you? Hell, I don't know. He had a badge on. So they don't know. We don't know. Now we got medical. Now they want to sue because the cops don't know. It's a pain. So from a cop perspective, if you show up and do anything at a crime scene, you need to document it. You need to do a supplemental. You need to say, hey, I was here. I responded. I did this, I contacted this, I used force on this person, I arrested this person, and then I left. And that's just called kind of like beat integrity or being a good cop, to where, hey, you're not going to leave another cop hanging, because unless you've been a cop on that side to where you're hanging and you're trying to track down, it takes you months to find out one cop who did what. It's a pain in the butt. So, but, you know, a lot of inexperienced cops may not know that, but a good integrity, a good cop, a good beat cop will always do a supplement when they show up and do something to help the cop out in his investigation and make it easier. So that was a mess of a case, and it was kind of funny. But oh, the CHP thing, I forgot to mention. There was there was one car and it had this big red marks that happened to stay around, and I thought it was a Chippy, but I'm not sure. I think it was CHP. It had big red marks because I think they have the white hood. Whatever the car was, it had the white hood. So there's like red just smeared all down this front of this car. And I'm like, holy shit. I said, is that blood? He goes, no, man, that's lipstick. I go, what? He goes, man, I had some big black woman out here. She hit me and shit. She wouldn't listen. She had all this red lipstick on and shit. So when I slammed her on the car and put her face down and she slid down, that's her lipstick. And I was like, dude, it looks like you gutted a deer on your car. He goes, man, she had on a lot of lipstick. She has some big lips. I said, oh my God, dude, you're killing me. All right, we'll end those there.